everyone. Welcome back to Past Our Bedtime. Today, what are we going to talk about?
Today, I think we're going to talk about everything wedding. Just
Good and bad.
good and bad, and how my wedding was and how your wedding was,
Yeah.
and maybe give you guys some tips and tricks on what to do and what not to do, because it is a process getting ready for a wedding. So
Yeah, I planned mine in like 3 months.
I took a whole year to plan mine.
Right.
Yeah. So we had very different weddings, and
Very different.
Yeah.
Like, let's describe our weddings to the viewer. First, we need to...
cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah, and take a little sip. How do
Okay.
you take such quiet sips? I'm like,
I don't know. I'm trying to be cautious. Conscience? What?
conscience. No. Okay.
Courteous?
Courteous.
Yeah,
It's not
we'll
courteous.
go with courteous.
They want to hear our sips. Anyway,
Okay.
you can tell it's almost our bedtime. We're like
Yeah.
out of it today, but
Yeah.
should
You
wanna
go
start?
first. You go first.
No, I think you should go first.
Okay, because I got married first.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. So, our weddings were completely different. Let's be honest. I went super cheap and did everything myself, and but we didn't have a lot of money, so that's the reason why.
Mm-hmm.
But yours is you spent a little bit of money, and you did everything that you really, really wanted to
Yes.
do, and you had the best. We both had the best days of our
Yes,
lives.
I also think though for you, even if you did have more money, it would have
Still been the same.
a lot the same. Maybe
Yeah.
a few changes, but you still would have had the outdoor element
Yeah.
and being by water and
Yeah.
and all that stuff. That's very outdoorsy. That's very you.
Yeah, so it took place outside, at your stepdad's cabin.
Yeah.
On the water, not on the water, but lakefront.
Yeah.
And it was a smaller wedding because of the size of the property. And then we had the reception at the hall, close to where the cabin is.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the most magical day, the hottest day of the year.
So hot.
Oh my God, it was so hot.
It was like 33 or something, and we're right in the sun, and I had a weird bridesmaid dress that just, you could see the sweat, and it started right here.
Yeah.
And it was just, so sweaty, and by the end of the ceremony, I don't think I had any makeup on, but it didn't matter because
Me
we
neither.
were drinking.
Yeah, we were drinking. But also, ours are completely different because mine, I walked down the aisle to Alice in Chains, like, Nutshell. And you did not walk
I
to
walked
a
down-
metal song
no,
about suicide.
Mine was like a violin piano version of like 1,000 years.
Yeah. So completely different vibes.
Yeah, but I picked mine because me and Brad couldn't figure out a song, and I played the song for him in the car, and he started crying. And so I was like, oh, this is the one, because normally I don't think I would have picked that song. But because there was no words, it was just the violin
Yeah.
and the piano. It was really nice, but
Yeah.
I wouldn't go one step closer. Like, that's not the song I was thinking of walking down the aisle to.
Yeah, and yours is very beautiful, but and so was mine. But yeah, they're completely different weddings.
Yeah.
So that's kind of mine.
Yes.
In a nutshell.
And-
What was the name of the song?
Yeah, oh my God. And Cora, like, we all set up together.
Yes.
All of us. We set up the hall. We set up the ceremony. We did our own makeup. We had somebody do our hair, but we were all very much like in it together. It felt
Yeah.
really like community based. And
Yeah, and we had to clean up the next day ourselves too.
yeah, yes.
was
At
the
least it wasn't as
worst.
hot, but yeah, so we did also have to do that.
Yeah.
And then my wedding was at the barn at Wind's Edge, just outside of Saskatoon. Beautiful, filled with chandeliers.
Oh, yeah. Sparkly.
Yeah, sparkly. Had a whole chapel that was all white. And we were planning to get married outside, but it was also the hottest day of the year. When I got married, it was 33, and it was supposed to maybe thunderstorm.
It did later that night.
It did for a little bit.
Yeah.
And so we moved it inside because I'm very outdoorsy too. That's why I was cool, because you had a backup plan right there. So if it was too hot or storming, we just moved everything inside. And we did so much. The dance had like the biggest disco ball I've ever seen, and smoke machines, and we had videos playing on projectors, and yeah, it was like literally a fairy tale wedding. Like, I don't know if I've ever been to anyone's wedding that was like that before, but luckily I had some help from my stepdad and my real dad and my mom. And,
Yeah.
And so lots of that money did come from them for the venue. So they paid for the whole entire venue and all the food, and the food was unreal.
Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah, so yeah, it was quite different. I got to do everything in the exact same spot. I showed up there the day of, got ready. They had beautiful makeup tables, and we got our hair done.
Yeah, we got our hair done, makeup done, and you bought our dresses and our shoes.
Yeah, and then they brought in a bunch of food during and alcohol, and it would never stopped. Like we didn't have to worry about
anything.
Just
showing up.
We just showed up and
remember when the makeup artist made me prettier than you?
Yeah, I always joke.
It's because I thought about this. It's because I don't always wear makeup, so it's easy to make me look better.
I honestly think it's because I had my lashes done, and every time I went to go get my makeup done by her, I didn't have lashes, and I'm just like allergic to lash glue, so every time I'd leave, I'd like cry, and I'm like, well, I can't do this. So I got lashes without telling her, and then the lashes like didn't turn out the way I wanted them to look. So because I had bad lashes, it made my eyes look not as good. And because you had those fake, like really thin, beautiful lashes, like I could tell that's like for sure hard,
change it.
different. Yeah, like my lashes were knotted. If I could take something back, it would be getting those lashes.
Okay.
I would maybe get different lashes because I couldn't do anything else because I was allergic to lash glue. But that's like the one thing physically that I looked that I was like, I wish I didn't have that done, but it's too late now.
It's too late now, but you still look beautiful.
Yeah, so I think we should talk about though, like what don't you?
Oh yeah, what's the most overrated thing when you're planning a wedding? Like what energy I put into my wedding that didn't even matter.
Yeah, can you say that?
And this might be for other people too, but like centerpieces. Nobody ever remembers what the centerpiece is. Do you remember other people's centerpieces?
I remember 2 centerpieces. I remember yours because I helped put them out and they had a really like sentimental meaning.
Right, that's different though.
And I remember when I was really, really small going to a beach-themed wedding, which is really random. But they had these candles that looked like they had sand on the bottom and then like almost blue Jello. And inside the Jello, they put shells. Yeah. And as a kid, I thought that was the coolest thing. I was like, how did they get that in there? And the sensory of it.
Yeah.
And I like very much remember that. And for some reason, I actually remember Jessica's centerpieces.
What are they? I don't even remember.
She had wine bottles with some wheat and like flowers in it and stuff, and then some candles. But I think the reason why I remember that so hard is because she had our little name tags, and on the other side, she had like personal notes to everyone.
Yeah, she made personal notes to every single person that attended her wedding.
Yeah, and I stole that idea, and I had
it's in the back of my phone.
I had like 200 people at my wedding.
I think it's actually in the back of my phone.
Oh my god, that's so cute. Yeah, so I stole that.
Look.
Yes.
Because it means so much to me. Like, who makes individual printed fancy notes and her wedding was massive. There were so many people there. She did it for everyone. Anyway.
Yeah. So anyway, I also stole the idea. But that's because I remembered it, right?
Yeah.
So I do remember people's centerpieces, and I honestly had
all of them.
Quite a time.
They always have some sort of flower and some sort of like.
And I had quite a time with my wedding planner and the centerpieces, and I spent way too much effort on it.
Yeah.
Because they were messing up so often. And I was like, this shouldn't be so hard.
The wedding planner was messing up your centerpieces?
Yes, and they told me I was having all of this stuff for so long, and one of my wedding planners quit, and I had to get a new one and explain everything to them. So I went through my whole months and months and months, because I planned it for a year, right? Actually, almost a whole year thinking I was having these centerpieces. Yeah. A week before my wedding, I found out that they didn't have anything that they told me. And then the flowers I was supposed to get from a flower company, won't name it, said that their daughter was getting married that same weekend, so they probably weren't going to have enough flowers for my centerpieces. Oh my God.
See, weddings are just so stressful.
I know.
For no reason.
So for me, and I didn't even have anything that nice. It was like white roses and eucalyptus, but I did want to make sure I had wheat from my dad's farm.
Right.
And so I just didn't have a good time with that. And I put way too much energy into it. So I feel like...
Yeah, that's something I feel like a lot of people put a lot of energy into. And people actually don't remember.
Mm-hmm. And I remember some, but not all. Yeah, especially the ones like I did. Like mine were not memorable. It just looked really pretty for the moment.
Yeah.
And the photos I have now look really good.
Yeah.
I can show them off or whatever, but...
Okay, what's one thing that you think people stress out too much about on the wedding day that they don't need to, or planning?
Stress out too much.
Or that's overrated?
Well, I want to say like this, I would say the seating chart. Because I stress out a lot about the seating chart.
I think everybody I know who did a seating chart stressed out about the seating chart.
And I felt like I had to because my parents are separated. So it's kind of like trying to make everything work together. But it was all fucked up anyway. The wedding planner, again, messed up. I had a very horrible time with a wedding planner. So if you can plan events, do it yourself is all I got to say.
That's a skill that some people don't have, though.
I know, but anyway.
Okay.
If you want to know who it was, reach out to me privately. I'll tell you. Anyway. So I had a really rough time, and me and Brad spent hours and hours and hours on the seating chart. We made it on a big bristle board, and we had little sticky notes so that we could move people around as people were RSVPing.
Yeah.
And just move them around, make sure his parents were in the front, mine were in the front, all this stuff. And the day of, it was the last thing the wedding planner did, and they just scrambled and put people anywhere.
It wasn't even up at one point.
Yeah, they had that too. They didn't figure out I didn't have the table seating thing until like right before I'm about to walk down the freaking aisle.
Yeah, and somebody had to go to your house and go get it.
Yeah.
Right.
Shout out to Lisa. Thank you for doing that.
Oh, that was Lisa.
Yeah, it was. I remember walking out of the room and her sitting
MVP.
there. Yeah.
MVP.
Anyway, so Brad's parents were like in the back of the room, and there was couples that were separated, and you know what? Nobody was sitting where they were supposed to, but it all worked out, and everyone had a really good time.
I didn't do a scene chart. Figure it out. And no matter if, like Matt's family, if you would have put them somewhere, they would have never followed it. They would have been like, I'm sitting wherever I want.
Yeah.
So I didn't stress out about that.
Yes.
That was something like, you guys figure it out.
Well, yeah, also like for like 200 and some people, where every single table's taken from the amount of people you had at your wedding is also like very different. So, and I feel like too, like even other people, let's say like Jessica or whatever, planned their wedding, she really wanted to focus on like certain family groups being together and like family or whatever.
Yeah.
So I think if it was like just all family for me and a few friends, I think I would have been like, whatever, figure it out. Yeah. You know?
Well, I think
but
I
also
have
my
120
parents,
some people there. Well, I guess that's not as much as you guys, but.
Yeah. And I feel like, I don't know if maybe I was just drunk, but was all those people there at the dinner? No, they came after the dinner.
I had only specific people come to the dinner.
That's why, because the dinner is where everyone has to sit down for such a long period of time, and you're worried about who's interacting at what table.
Yeah.
So I was like,
speaking of dinner, sorry to interrupt you, but like the dessert. I feel like people put too much energy into the dessert and then people don't even eat it because they've been drinking too much. And they ate too much. And then you throw out all this dessert at the end.
Is that what happened to you?
Yes. It was so ridiculous. Like, spent all this money on all this food that no one ate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, we had dessert that was served, so people were like kind of forced to eat it.
Yeah, and people loved it.
Yeah, and then
wasn't it a cheesecake of some sort?
It was like some toffee cheesecake.
Yeah,
delicious.
Yeah, some people loved it.
And it played during a slideshow, so there was like something to do while they're eating. But then we also had a donut wall, which I was so excited to try these donuts, and they were all gone by the time I got there.
So you didn't even get one.
Didn't even get one. So my dessert went over with a bang, but all I had to worry about were the donuts, which is like. And it was just a little wall of donuts, so it wasn't too crazy. But
anything else that you want to say is kind of overrated?
Okay, I think...
Before we move on to the next one? The good parts of the
wedding. There's a couple tradition-y things that I want to get out there that I do not like. I do not like tossing the bouquet.
Okay.
I don't know why. There's just no point. And some people get a second bouquet just to do that. Yeah. And I'm like, why are you doing that?
Yep.
You know, don't like that.
I didn't do that.
No, me neither. I don't like cutting the cake.
I didn't do that.
Yeah. So, like, that's another thing. That's kind of like dessert.
Yeah.
But it's extreme dessert because now at some point in your wedding when you're really drunk or surrounded by all your friends and family, even not drunk, you have to remember in your head that there's a cake cutting.
Yeah.
And go and cut a cake and eat it in front of...
And everyone watches you cut a cake.
And, like,
isn't that
feed
weird?
each other.
Like, that's so weird.
So
let's go watch them all cut a cake. Like,
yeah, I don't know where that tradition came from.
I can do better things with my time than watch people cut a cake.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just, like, can't...
You know what else we didn't do, but you did? We didn't do first dance. Like, I don't want people staring at me while we just, like, kind of dance. But you, like, did a whole thing.
We did it. We choreographed a little part of our dance, and we had the smoke and the disco ball.
Going.
And it's, like, the most beautiful thing on my wedding video.
Yeah, there was me in the background, like, pretty drunk. Just a proud mom taking videos just in the corner.
Yeah, if you want to see the most beautiful wedding video ever, check out my YouTube page, just Wendie Brooks, Wendie with an I-E, W-E-N-D-I-E, B-R-O-O-K-S. Anyway, and all my wedding stuff's on there, and my engagement video that we played during the wedding too, and you'll get a little taste of how absolutely elegant and wild it was.
And you will see my kick-ass speech I made.
Yeah, it was so good.
Yeah.
I called my wedding the Elegant Rager. Is how I described it to everyone.
Very good way to describe it.
Yeah,
Okay,
so anyway.
What are things that you would not cheap out on?
Photographer.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you tell your story.
She wasn't bad. There were some things I didn't get done, and I'm a little bit upset about it. And I'm like, I didn't get any pictures with my kids.
Or it's okay, maybe it's not even just cheaping out, but making very sure that you have a list of what you absolutely need.
I made a list, and I thought it was being done.
Yeah.
And then, like, it's a crazy day, and you're just like, people are trying to talk to you, and you're just trying to be everywhere. And I literally thought, I don't know. It was also the hottest day of the year, and the kids were like, over it.
Yeah.
So we should have done those first.
For me too, like, that's a big one. Like, we only have one family photo of the 5 of us, and Callah's like not smiling in it. And I'm like, why is this like the only photo like we got? And there were so many photos that me and Brad took of just the 2 of us.
Yeah.
That I almost sort of like wanted to exchange for a few more of with the kids.
Yeah. Just the kids and you guys.
And when everyone else leaves and you're just taking photos, it's like you want to get back to your wedding so bad.
Yes.
So it's like we're spending so much time on just the photos of us, which is great because like you want those for your memories. But in my mind, I was like, man, I didn't get photos with my grandpa. Like, that's a huge one that I wish I would have done. Like, why didn't I do that? And I felt so rushed.
Was it on the list?
No, but they gave me a list of only a certain amount of things I can capture.
Yeah.
So I had to pick. But then the day of, John, like, even my stepmom was like, can I get a photo with you? And everybody would ask, and I'd just be like, oh, I guess. Because I thought, like, the photographer cared so much, but they just didn't. So I could have grabbed my grandpa, and I could have grabbed all this stuff. And then looking back, I'm like, there's all these moments that I missed that I wish I would have asked for or, like, actually made time for.
Yeah.
And then also, like, my video. I know you didn't get a video, but that is...
You made me a little video.
I did.
Yeah.
I think it's the most important thing.
It's very important. It was very special to me. Thanks.
Yeah, I just, like, can't...
You're that's your background, though. You're all about videos and pictures and all those things. And I'm just like, you know what? I just want to experience the actual moment and not have to be like, oh, let's get a good picture over here. And, like, I'm weird. I don't like people taking pictures of me. So.
And, like, for me, the people we hired to do both were, when we weren't set in that time to get those photos, were very secretive, and I didn't even know they were like, there. You know what I mean?
They were good. If you want to know who those guys were, reach out, because...
Well, I'll tell you right now. Sick Pics was my photographer, and Azalea Photography and Videography did my video, and both of them were absolutely amazing, and I would recommend both of them. And, you know, just make sure you have a very clear understanding of who you want photos with before you get your photos done, or even the video.
Yeah.
You know.
What do you want in it?
Yeah.
You know what I think is really important to not cheap out on? A good set of eyebrows. They literally will build so much confidence.
Eyebrow girl, Claudia. YXC, I think that's her social media handle.
She's amazing. I just can't afford to get it done all the time.
I know. So I want to give her a shout out right now because she's honestly changed my eyebrows. Like, they were nothing. They were little slivers, like 2020 eyebrows when they were absolutely nothing. And then I got Cora on before we went on our vacation, and I think it completely, like, even changed your face.
It changes everything.
Yeah. So it is, Claudia's Beauty YXE. You can find her Saskatoon Brows on Instagram and book your appointment there. Absolutely amazing.
She is amazing.
Like, that's another thing I'm telling people, and then I won't be able to get an appointment anymore. But she deserves it.
Because
I should gatekeep people more often.
One more for me. I don't have a big list.
Okay.
Speeches. So they really make or break that section of the wedding.
Yes.
So make sure that you're actually choosing somebody that's, well, I mean, sometimes you can't choose and it's just like, welcome to the family. And it's like the mother and father of the, right? But I went to a wedding recently where it was like, welcome the girl, so the bride, to the family, and the mom said nothing nice or said nothing about her.
I just went to my friend's wedding and that happened the exact same thing.
Just talked about how good her son was and how amazing her son was.
Yes.
I was like, well, am I? Is this real life right now?
No, it's like mother, I guess your mother-in-law or the mothers of the groom.
Yeah.
Are just like, my baby's getting married, like total like mama's boy or something.
And she didn't shut up.
I know, and that's exactly what happened at the wedding. I literally, the very last wedding I went to, and it was like 12 minutes, and I couldn't see my friend like up there like being like this, and even like her husband being like, I can't believe this is happening.
Yeah.
And her whole table was making fun of it. And I was like, I can't believe this is happening.
They can really make or break that section, and like make sure that they're actually doing a speech to like what they're actually supposed to do a speech to.
Yeah, that's another thing. I chose the best people to give my speech. And Cora, like, thank you for being who you are, because I had a maid of honor that I last minute, like literally 2 weeks before the wedding, had to remove from our wedding party. And Cora like stepped up and made the best speech I've probably ever heard in my entire life.
Oh, you're just saying that?
No.
Really?
The best wedding speech ever.
Really? I was so nervous.
I
didn't even drink because I wanted to be sober to be like, get it right.
No, and people were talking about it for a month after, like months after. And so in such a short period of time, she made the best thing I've ever heard in my life. So yeah, you really pulled through.
Thanks, friend.
And everyone was like that. The whole speeches at my wedding, everyone was like, that was like the best speeches I've ever heard in my life. Like, and it made everyone laugh. And and I also had like MCs that were both radio hosts.
Yeah, so that was pretty good too.
Also helped because they were like radio hosts together on a rock station. So they were like joking about drinking or the rules about
just they're joking about everything.
They're joking about everything. It was so good.
My MC too, I was really good. MC was really good too. So shout out to Curtis.
I saw him the other day and I was like, I know you somehow. Yeah. I was like, I think you did Cora's wedding, but I didn't say it to him because I'm like, you have no idea who I am.
He probably would have liked you to say hi.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, shout out to Curtis and Jordan. You guys are amazing.
Shout out.
Thanks. Yeah. Okay, anything else that you think is important about a wedding that people should stress out about a little bit?
I think if you have a gut feeling that somebody shouldn't be doing something on your wedding, say no. Don't be nice. If your wedding planner keeps on messing up and you're like, no, I don't want this anymore, like, just don't. Even if you lose a little bit of money, because in the long run, it will like save so much. It'll save your sanity. It'll save so much important details on your wedding. Also, like, I went back to my makeup artist so many times thinking that it would like change, and it just like never did. And in my gut, I was like, I don't know. And it's just like things like that. Like, it's like, there's so many makeup artists out there. I could have at least tried someone else.
You should always just trust your gut, period, in everything in life. Mm-hmm. And, because there's a reason. It's like an intuition.
100%. And I feel it so often, but sometimes the nice part of me, the people pleaser.
The peeper pleaser.
The people pleaser in me is like, I just can't even do this, even though I know, like.
Yeah, I get that.
But it's true. I need to do better at that. Maybe that'll be a new goal of mine.
It's just setting boundaries.
Yes, I need more boundaries.
You need more boundaries.
Yeah.
It's hard to get boundaries or to do boundaries, but once you start doing it, it comes a little bit easier. I'm in my boundary stage right now.
Oh, yeah, that's your era?
It's my era? Yeah, my boundary era.
Nice.
It's more of a healing era, but
it's overall bettering your whole body and
everything.
Soul.
Mind, body, and soul.
Yeah, we are one. And on that note, let's cheers to that. Thank you for watching, and we'll be back same time, same place, posting every Sunday. Past your bedtime.
Past.
Just kidding. Past our bedtime. That's the thing I make a mistake a lot.
Yeah, it's
Because it is past your bedtime, but it's also past my bedtime.
That's why you keep making them.
But I also go on your show so often.
Oh, your show, yeah.
And it's called Your Show. So anyway, past our bedtime. We'll see you around.
Bye.
Bye. Cheers 700 times.